The O Cannabis Conference and Expo returns to Toronto June 1st through the 3rd, and there's still some good booth locations available. This exciting event is free for cannabis retailers and will feature Tommy Chong receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award at the O Cannabis Industry Awards. For more information about exhibiting or to register to attend, go to ocannabis.com. That's OCANNABIZ.com.
Cannabis capital markets are on fire. Cannabis capital raises of $1.47 billion for the first 5 weeks of 2021 are running ahead of the previous $1.3 billion record set in 2018. So as Viridian Capital Advisors basket of 25 cannabis stocks is up 146% from the beginning of 2020 and approximately 52% since the beginning of 2021. Top 10 U.S. cultivation and retail sector companies by market cap now trade at a median of 23x of 2021's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization estimates. So how much better can it get in the cannabis markets? Welcome back to The Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, capital markets analyst and host of your Cannabis Business Podcast. Today we're taking a look at a report from the Viridian Capital Advisors group for mergers and acquisitions. All right, starting off with capital raises, there were 4 more capital raises and 115 million higher volume this week than the prior week compared to the same last year. There's also 3 more transactions and 390 million higher volume. So this week's average deal size was 39.6 million versus 5.6 in the same period last year. So equity markets continue at a record pace despite the week's 11% retracement at the end of January last week. So that $1.3 billion of closed deals in 2021's first 4 weeks was 81% higher than the previous year that had a record set in 2018. So this week's deal includes an eclectic mix of multi-state operators, limited partnerships, troubled companies, and a Reg A issue. Most notable feature of the transactions was the diversity of the investor base. TerrAscend's issues was purchased mostly by large U.S. institutional investors, while Gage completed a $50 million funding with predominantly high net worth investors. Viridian Capital, they don't think that the equity issuance spree is over, so they noted that Green Thumb updated their registration statement for potential issuance of up to 10 million subordinate shares, and Trulieve filed a short-term self-prospectus issuing 750 million. So the largest capital raise or equity raise was from TerrAscend, the 5th largest multi-state operator by market cap. They announced the closing of $224 million non-brokerage private placements. That includes 18 million shares. The company disclosed 4 large U.S. institutional investors purchasing 80% of that issue. So public versus private capital raises. 9 of the week's 10 capital raises were closed by public companies, raising approximately 97% of the capital year to date in 2021, about the same as last year. There's been a consistent trend towards public companies raising capital, taking advantage of newly robust capital market conditions. So the public company listings, all 9 were raised and listed in the Canadian Stock Exchange. That was 5 on the Canadian Stock Exchange, 4 on the Toronto, all 9 listed in the OTC markets. So equity versus debt capital raises. Equity-based capital accounted for 9 of the week's 10 rounds, closing for 97% of the raised proceeds so far. So the largest debt raise happened with Flower One Holdings. They closed a 3-year, $10 million unsecured convertible debenture offering 9% coupons. Moving on to mergers and acquisitions, 4 M&A transactions were completed this week, up from 3 in the prior year. Continuing to see signs of accelerating merger and acquisition activity with over $1 billion of announced deals still yet to close. The largest M&A transaction came from Heritage Cannabis, a development stage public company that grows, sells, and distributes medical cannabis, announced that closing of its acquisition of Premium 5 Limited, that's a Canadian-based producer of high-quality concentrates. That was a total consideration of $35 million US. That consisted of $19 million in cash and $15 million in earned payments. Public versus private. So this week's 4 acquisitions were made by public companies with the recent surge in cannabis stock prices, expecting to see public companies to making more add-on purchases of private companies using primarily stock. And then M&A by sector. 2 of this week's buyers were transactions that came from cultivation and retail, 1 from an investment or emergent M&A, and the other one from hemp. 2 of the targets came from cultivation and retail. one from Infused Products and Extracts, and one from Hemp.
With that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is The Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out.
Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and check out these other videos that we've got.
How do cannabis CEOs balance growth and optimization strategies? What is THCO, Delta-10, and CBNA, and why should you care about these minor cannabinoids? And why isn't the endocannabinoid system covered in medical school? Most people think they're up to date in trends in the cannabis industry, but they're about 6 weeks behind. Learn about what is truly next in the cannabis space by joining myself, Brian Fields, and Kellen Finney every week on the Dime Podcast, and of course, on PodConnects.